So the 5 lights light up. 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, 4 lights, 5 lights, 5 lights. And it's lights out, and away we go in Salzburg Ring. It's a good start from the Red Bull in front. It's Charles Leclerc who tries to get back past Max Verstappen. And he's going to go down inside. It's going to be ascend. It's going to be ascend by Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen. Oh, it's a big hit on the cone to the front wing going there. That's one of the McLarens, I believe. I think it might have been Oscar Piastri's front wing that went. And there's cars round at the back. There's cars round at the back. And that's George Russell trying to make a move. And the Williams there, and there's only about 7 cars. There's been a massive pile up at the back. I'm not too sure what's going on there. There's Verstappen, and that's George Russell trying to make a move on him down the back straight. And that's side by side of the McLaren onto the grass there. That's what I'm not sure it's the McLaren, it's Lando Norris onto the grass. He's onto the grass again. They're all side by side. George Russell trying to get around the outside. There's a send by Hamilton. Hamilton knows George Russell drives down the inside. It was Hamilton there originally. Mercedes the 1-2 now. Hamilton's got about 5 cars in the one corner. If George Russell's round, there's a McLaren off the track. That's Lando Norris. He's spun. Oh, Lando Norris is almost round. And that's a good save that from Norris to not spin there. There's someone coming to the pits there as they catch up to the safety car, which is obviously called due to that incident on lap 1. We're going to go back to a replay now of what on earth happened to start there. Let's watch some Sergio Perez's point of view, because there's a lot of gaps already in lap 1. It isn't that common. Oh, and there's a massive pile up there. Let's see what happened. It's one of the McLaren. There's an Aston Martin of Fernando Alonso who spins round. A Haas is round. And then, oh, there's a Gasly around as well. He actually had a very good start then. He's actually quite far in front despite qualifying 20th. And then they're back at it as well. So he needs to get back to live coverage. So we'll watch these lot while we do that. About a minute and a half behind. We'll fast forward. They've actually got up to our co-op safety car, haven't they? That would make sense. As we're back live now in the Salzburg Ring. It's a safety car. He's out after a crash through turn 2 involving multiple cars. 3 cars spun round with Fernando Alonso, one of the Haas cars, I believe it was Nico Hülkenberg, and Pierre Gasly. Actually, if it was Nico Hülkenberg, he wouldn't be there. I think it was Kevin Magnussen who also spun round. And I think Piastri lost his front wing as well. The safety car leads them. Start lap 3. And all helmets off. What's happened here? Oh, there's loads of cars off. Loads of cars have gone off. And I think we can have a red flag here, because multiple cars are off here. I think the whole grid is now for Romeo off and Red Bull's off. And that could end the race of multiple cars. We'll wait for all these cars to get back going, and then we'll get a replay. The car's managing to get back going now. Hamilton stopped there. I'm not too sure why. I think he's trying to get back to where he's meant to be. As Verstappen comes back out of the pits. He's up on this Stroll there in the wall. and I'm not too sure if anyone DNF'd from that. I'll have to board. So Sonoda is out. It looks like Magnussen is also out. Fernando Alonso out. Joe Guan Yu out. Lance Stroll has managed to continue. Let's go to a replay and see what on earth caused that. Go on board with Max Verstappen, because that was very strange. They're under safety car. Max Verstappen, P5 at the time of the accident. We'll go back to normal speed now. And let's see what happened. Oh, what on earth? They just start turning right. What on earth happened there? And they all just go towards the wall. Most of the front runners, some go left, some go right. And that's what's happened. The back racing though in Salzburg Ring now. And he's an Alpine in P6, he must have done quite well to get through all those cars. That's Pierre Gasly, he spun at the first corner. After starting from last, he got up to P12 at turn 1, he then spun at turn 2. But not really at the moment, many close battles. This is what we're used to in this series, of course, which I'm surprised about, to be fair, especially after just being on the safety car. It's Sergio Perez, he's a lap down, unfortunately, for the Mexican, and currently last. So 4 cars out currently: Joe Guan Yu, Fernando Alonso, Kevin Magnussen and Yuki Tsunoda. And Sergio Perez is lapped by one of the Haas cars. It is, of course, Nicky Hulkenberg, the only one who's still in the race. There's Alex Albon, who currently leads from Nico Hulkenberg. George Russell, the champion leader, in 3rd. He's the top front runner. Albon, like he was in Misano, leading the race. He's down in round the outside, so he goes Max Verstappen. But no, it wouldn't be Verstappen. That would be Perez. That would be the Perez. He's a lap down, trying to fight and unlap himself. Actually, that could be Verstappen, you know. No, it isn't Verstappen, because Verstappen's P9, so that would be Perez. No blue flags, of course, now. It's all about getting past the back markers. Of course, Perez isn't a back marker normally. Because what happened earlier did not help him whatsoever. Lap 6 of 72 now. Now Perez putting pressure on Albon. Albon's a lap down, doesn't matter too much. Perez down the inside through one of the kinks. And doesn't quite get the move done. So he's trying to unlap himself. You're allowed to do that. It's his front 5 in last. In front, there's someone off there. Who was that? I believe that was Charles Leclerc. Yeah, it was Leclerc. He's off into the gravel. Now let Gasly past him up into P4. I think the gap is because most of the cars that were involved in that massive confusion on the safety car couldn't catch up to the cars in front. But to be fair, they are managing to catch up. They can catch up quite easily. All then sent by George Russell and Albon. And he takes the lead. But does he know? Because Albon's going to have the line and try and stay ahead. And he does stay ahead. Now Hulkenberg's going to put pressure on George Russell. Hulkenberg's never won a race before in Formula 1. He got P2 last time out in Alton Park. Can he do anything? Is he always off the track there? And that's going to put him off. No, it's not. He's going to sweep round the outside for massive margin. That could be looked at, because I think it was off the track. But if he was on the grass, surely that would have slowed him down. But George Russell also had Albon, and Albon's lost 2 positions in 2 corners. There's P4, Pierre Gasly, rapid at the moment, trying to get past the cars in front of him. You can see Sergio Perez currently P16, able to unnap himself and try and get away from these front runners. And try and get himself back into this race. As George Russell piling pressure on Nico Hulkenberg. And he's going to try and go round the outside through turn 5, and it's going to work, and it's going to work very well, because now Albon's going to have a little run on Nico Hulkenberg. They go through turn 7 now, flat out, all the way until turn 12. And Albon right at the back, they go through turn 7. That's not turn 7, that's turn 8, turn 9, no, this is not turn 11. These corners confuse me, to be fair. I'm not going to bother giving them their corner names. But Albon not able to get past Hulkenberg. Brilliant fending from the German in the Haas car. All that, to be fair, they've caught up to George Russell, but all that attacking and defending and things like Gasly right up to the back of this pack. And Nico Hulkenberg with a run on George Russell. Is he going to make a move into turn 1? Pierre Gasly will want that to happen, because he wants them to fight all the way until he catches up with them, and that's going to... Oh, he cuts the corner there, that's Hulkenberg. Alex Albon cuts the corner, and Alex Albon spun round. Oh, and Gasly's into the back of George Russell, and that's George Russell's rear ring gun. I don't think Gasly has damage. That's annoying for Gasly, and that's done amazing for Nico Hulkenberg. He's now quite far ahead of the rest of the pack. Leclerc's caught back up. That's Albon. Yeah, Albon's still up there, to be fair. Carlos Sainz as well. And Bottas are now from Romeo in P6. It's George Russell now P3. And no rear wing. He'll be swamped by the 2 cars behind him, Charles Leclerc and Alex Albon. And I think that was all caused there by Nico Hulkenberg cutting turn 1. It kind of put Albon off, he cut turn 2 and he spun round. It's now Albon. Leclerc gets past George Russell and Albon's going to get past George Russell. With George Russell, I'm sure, is going to come into the pits. But to be fair, we saw Logan Sargent almost the whole race with no rear wing. It's all Leclerc almost loses it. That's a good save from the Monegas. As George Russell pit, he does pit. So George Russell into the pits now as Gasly chases down Nico Hulkenberg. And the pack's starting to get closer to each other now. As Lance Stroll, P15, he's quite far back. Ocon near the McLaren of... I'm not going to say who that McLaren is because I don't have a clue, because I can't see which number it is. And let's go and watch Nico Hulkenberg, who leads this race currently. What a race this would be to win his home, not his home race. His home race is in 2 weeks' time at Lausitzring, another sprint race, of course. But he'd love to win this race, probably the closest race apart from his home race for the German. It's all Gasly clips for one of the barriers tyres there. Thankfully, it doesn't cause too much damage, so that barrier will be gone now for the rest of the race, the remaining 62 laps. 15 minutes into this race, of course there is a 2-hour cut-off, so the race isn't done by 2 hours. Then, like we saw in France, the race gets ended early. Gasly able to catch up to Kevin Magnussen, Nico Hulkenberg, sorry. The only remaining Haas car in this race. And Gasly, has he got a run on Hulkenberg? To be fair, I don't think he does, unfortunately. For the Frenchman, he has not finished a race in the last 3 races. I don't think he's finished the South African Grand Prix. He didn't finish in Aragon. He didn't finish in France. He didn't finish in where was after France? I can't remember, unfortunately. He didn't finish in Masano, he didn't finish in Autumn Park. He didn't beat Crash. Oh, that's Bottas, and there's another one gone off as well. 2 cars off in the background there at the hairpin. I believe that was Logan Sargent and Valtteri Bottas. And no replays, unfortunately. Just we want to keep on this action. But yeah, of course, Gasly crashing out, and Gasly cuts the corner. But Gasly took the lead. Gasly's taken the lead. I'd missed that. I don't know how I missed that, as Gasly almost goes off the track. Hulkenberg down the inside. But Gasly's going to have a good run at all. Gasly goes slightly wide there. But he's going to keep the position. It's the Frenchman. It's Hulkenberg's going to be all over the back of him as he going down the back straight. Here's Gasly. He crashed out with a sprint race last time out after trying to enter the pits. Hulkenberg's going to try and go round the outside through turn 11. He's going to do it. Oh, no, there's contact at both off. Oh, horrible accident. Horrible accident for Nico Hulkenberg. He power rolls off. Gasly's out. And Hulkenberg's out as well. The top 2 crash out. And there's a horrible accident for Nico Hulkenberg. I hope he's okay. But it's Gasly out. Oh, there's a Ferrari off as well. I think that's Charles Leclerc. Oh, that's horrible. Gasly's still going. We'll go on board with Pierre Gasly. He just collects him. And he's off. Oh, Hulkenberg's horrible accident. The rear wing's gone from Gasly, and so's the power. And as he tries to get back onto the track, he just gets collected by Charles Leclerc, and that goes his front right tyre. And Pierre Gasly, he's going to try and continue, I think. It's very difficult to keep going. Is he going to try and bring it back to the pits? He hasn't got any power, unfortunately. To be fair to him, he's able to keep going. The yellow flag's out now. I don't have to know if we're on the safety car or not. I'm assuming we are. To be fair to him, I reckon he will make the pits. But he'll probably, unfortunately, be a lap down. Is Gasly bringing it back to the pits, or is he? Nah, it goes uphill here. So that will slow him down, and the engine cut off, the pure gravity pushing him off along the track. And that's Pierre Gasly out of the race, unfortunately. Yeah, that's him pulled over and out of the race. Another DNF for Pierre Gasly. This time involving a crash of Nico Hulkenberg and pressure on the Frenchman. Now he's going backwards. He wants to get into the pits pretty quickly. Charles Leclerc into the pits. Let's go on board with Charles Leclerc, the Monegasque, involved in that incident after collecting Pierre Gasly. We'll go on board with him. What happened on board with Charles Leclerc, and just, I guess the grass, and he's unsighted. He's tried to slow the car down, but he can't. It's the second time this weekend that these two have collided. Leclerc's gone into the back with Pierre Gasly happening in the sprint shootout. Well, one of the qualifying sessions, it's happened here now. Let's go on board with Nico Hulkenberg as well. Horrible accident for him. We're getting news that he is okay, thankfully. But that was a horrible, horrible accident. We'll just see. To be fair, I don't think Gasly gave him any space. He just flips over and over and out of the track and out of this race. Oh, there's Nick de Vries catching up to the crash site. We'll fast forward back to live coverage. Just under 20 minutes into this race. Isn't it? That's too far ahead, so rewind a little bit. There you go. Live now. In this little battle between Nick de Vries and Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas and Logan Sargent. Battle for P6 here. Is Nick de Vries going to be overtaken by Lewis Hamilton? I think he will be. Hamilton down the inside. And he gets the move done, does he? Not quite. It's all Hamilton's off. De Vries pushes Hamilton off. And Hamilton off in a big way, and he's thankfully able to keep it going, I think. No, it's George Russell. That would have been George Russell. Yeah, it would have been. I thought I saw a 4 in the car. But Albon v Hamilton v Verstappen, as Verstappen almost spins round. But Lewis Hamilton takes the lead. It's all off, Verstappen's off, just like George Russell was a few laps ago. That's a shame. As Lewis Hamilton now leads from Alex Albon. So no, it would be Carlos Sainz who's up into third and Verstappen down in 4th place. Quite a good battle here for the lead. 20 minutes in, 18 laps in. And there's a move. Trying to make a move with Alex Albon and Lewis Hamilton. He's going to have to back out of that. And that wasn't going to work. And 3-car battle for the lead currently. And down inside goes Albon and Hamilton, and he's going to get the move done. I think he cut the corner there. But track limit's not really meaning anything for these drivers at the moment. And Hamilton down to P3, and that's Carlos Sainz trying to make a move on him now. And does it work? Sainz around the outside, and he's going to get the move done into Spaniard. Now Max Verstappen's there. And Verstappen going to try and make a move around the hairpin, not quite. But Hamilton's still putting pressure on Carlos Sainz. Is it going to work? I'm not too sure it will. Oh, it's into the pictures. Lewis Hamilton, he must have got damage from somewhere. Oscar Piastri on his own. Perez kind of close, off and close behind him. There's Perez, Stroll, George Russell, Charles Leclerc quite far back as well. Oh, actually, they might be a lap down, you know. Because there's Nick de Vries. What position's Nick de Vries then? Is he P12? No, he's P6, so he's a lap down, unfortunately, for him. Here's Alex Albon. Verstappen putting pressure on him. Is it going to work? Something tells me it'll be a struggle for him to get past him. But he does get past it. No, he doesn't. That's in front of him. He complete lap 20 of this race. Where's Verstappen actually? Verstappen must have gone off for the hairpin. I must have missed that. I do apologise. There he is. Now it's Carlos Sainz. And it's a move from Carlos Sainz on Alexander Albon. He's going to have the inside line. That'll be the outside line for turn 9. 11 will be the inside, but Albon has the faster sweeping outside line to stay in front. As there's Sainz. Oh, I thought he was going to go off into the gravel then. Very common mistake from these drivers to go off in the gravel in that corner. But Sainz is going to get it into turn 13. 14 is the inside line for Albon. 15 will be the inside line for Sainz, who gets into the lead of this race. But Albon is going to try and get past him. Verstappen's going to want to get involved in this now. Verstappen, he's the one. It's going to be 3 wide into the turn 1. No, it's not, because Albon's peeled in behind Carlos Sainz. Albon's in front of Verstappen. Oh, Verstappen almost moves to the car. Down inside, Verstappen's off the track almost. But Verstappen takes the lead of this race, and Carlos Sainz up into second past Alexander Albon as well. And Verstappen into lead of this race now. Carlos Sainz into second. And that's Alexander Albon in third. Now Albon trying to make a move on Carlos Sainz. Is he going to work? Don't quite think that will work. Oh no, it's not going to work. That Albon's off into the gravel. And he's just going to kiss the barrier. And he's going to spin the car around. And he's going to want to get that back on track as quick as he can, because there's actually Bottas ahead of him now. That's one of the McLarens as well. Lando Norris. Hamilton done it as well, and he's trying to find gear his Albon. Has he beached it? Possibly. No, he hasn't beached it. It's such a shame from Alexander Albon. That promotes Valtteri Bottas into podium places now. It's a 2-car battle for the lead. It's Carlos Sainz versus Max Verstappen. Ferrari v Red Bull. Sainz is going to try and go round the outside, and it's not going to work. We can have a better run down the back straight. We go left, and Sainz can't get past him. We go left again. Sainz is going to try and move down the inside into the right-hander. One more left-hander before the long right-hander. And no move attempt from Carlos Sainz. Put the hairpins here. We saw Albon go off here a lap before, and we're going to see Carlos Sainz go off there from the lead of the race a lap after. And he's going to spin round as well. And that's put all the pressure off Max Verstappen's shoulders. He's going to come back in third place. And now it's Valtteri Bottas up into second. And Valtteri Bottas has been given 2 positions for a mistake at the same corner. It's now all these cars starting to catch up. Max Verstappen in the lead of this race by a mile, it looks like. Can anything stop the Dutchman, who has yet to win a race this season and isn't really in the championship fight after winning the last 2 seasons. In battle we find is Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz. Is he going to manage to get past the Spaniard? Lando, the 2 former teammates at McLaren. Lando Norris is going to go down inside. Oh, Sainz has to back off. And who has the move? By the time we get into the corner, Sainz goes round the outside and he takes third place in Salzburg. Great move from Carlos Sainz to keep Lando Norris behind him. And 24 laps into this race. If this was yesterday's race, that would be race over. Unfortunately, well, fortunately for us. How many laps? I can't do maths, quick maths in my head. It's about 50 something laps, 47 I'm gonna guess. Laps left. As Lando Norris continuing to pile pressure on Carlos Sainz. Hamilton now, another one who went off at the infamous now turn 12 hairpin. Max Verstappen still leading this race by quite a mile. Bottas in P2. Carlos Sainz getting more pressure on Lando Norris. And Lando Norris now gets past. Oh, Hamilton's gone to the back of Carlos Sainz. And that was Lando Norris kind of putting off Carlos Sainz. He has to check up Lewis Hamilton, who loses his front wing, and that's awful for Lewis Hamilton. I think that's George Russell's lap down. As Hamilton gets past Nick de Vries. That was George Russell who's actually a lap down. I do apologise for that. It's 3 wide now between Ocon, Piastri and Albon. What a battle we've come into here. Is that Sergio Perez behind them. He managed to get his lap back, I believe. It's round the outside. 3 wide surely won't work here. Will it work? No, it does work. So I have to back off now. It's 2 wide and 2 wide. It's Piastri ahead of Sargent, of Perez ahead of Ocon. Ocon dived down the inside on Perez. Perez tries to stay ahead, and I think he will manage to stay ahead. It's Perez. Oh, Piastri's hit Sargent. Piastri's lost his front wing. He'll have to pit now. And that's a shame for McLaren drivers. Oh, Perez almost gets put into the wall. And we've seen that time and time again. And that's Piastri and Perez stuck in the middle of the track. Perez is doing so well. He was a lap down, and he's managed to catch back up and get near the point. Now it's Ocon versus Albon. It's like Lando Norris ahead of Carlos Sainz. Did we know that? I think we did. Hamilton quite a bit behind. Let's try Leclerc lap down behind his teammate. De Vries there. Albon. Where's Ocon? Where's Ocon gone? He must have gone off somewhere, I think. Because now Sargent. No, Albon will never go now. Sargent, he'd never gone off. There's Sargent. Lance Stroll. He's doing quite well. Where's Perez? Perez managed to keep going. He's just ahead of... Oh, Perez is a lap down now. Such a shame. He was already pretty close to being a lap down. It's Charles Leclerc just behind him. George Russell. He's also a lap down. And Piastri's out of the race. Such a shame for the Aussie. He was doing so well. He broke his front wing going into the back of Sargent. But coming into the pits, Perez is in his way and he can't make it into the pits. And that's going to end his race, unfortunately. Sargent versus Ocon was a good battle. Let's go back to that one. The battle for P8. There's Ocon trying to get past Sargent, but to no avail at the moment as they end off the lap. Let's go try and find another battle, because these two aren't looking like they're going to be getting past anytime soon, unfortunately. It's still quite close. Oh, Ocon gets past around the outside. Hang on, Bottas leads the race. Actually, Bottas leads the race. He must have caught up to Verstappen. I didn't see that. If actually Bottas takes the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix, he's already won a race this season. It was, if my mind is correct, I'm not too sure actually. It would have been the Spanish Grand Prix. Why would it have been? It was before, I believe, it might have been the South African Grand Prix actually. The Valtteri Bottas won. But Verstappen's off. That's time and time again. And now Verstappen's been caught out. He's still in second place. That's his teammate Sergio Perez with a lap down. He's going to try and unnap himself yet again in this race. This is up and down in P5 now. He managed to keep going. Carlos Sainz versus Lewis Hamilton versus Nick De Vries is into the pits. There comes Lewis Hamilton. That might be a scheduled stop, but he's already pitted once this race. There's Valtteri Bottas being Perez unlapping himself. There's Nick De Vries versus Carlos Sainz. It's all there's Bottas. He must have been involved in the crash with Sergio Perez, who's trying to unlap himself, and that's before in Brazil in 2018, I think it was, between Ocon and Verstappen, and now it's Perez and Bottas. It's such a shame for Bottas now. He's managed to keep going, thankfully for him. But now it's De Vries who leads this race. He won in the British Grand Prix. He's in the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix. But Carlos Sainz, he's only won one plate race. That was the British Grand Prix last year. So we're saying, oh, now Sainz is off. Carlos Sainz is off. You don't want to go around the outside there. We've learnt and learnt and learnt. But they don't seem to have learnt. I think De Vries now under no pressure. No, he is under pressure because Valtteri Bottas has rapidly caught up to him. And oh, Lando Norris is out of the race. I'm going to now rewind to see what happened to Lando. Because he was looking like he was doing fine. Not too sure what happened to the Brit. But that's both McLarens now out of this race. And let's see what happened to him. Not sure when it would have been. But he's sort of battling. He's in P3 actually. He was in second. I did not see this happen. This is when I was watching. Oh, there's Sainz off. One of the Ferraris. Not too sure which one it was. If he goes round inside of one of them Red Bulls, that is Sergio Perez. He's lapped out. Oh, he just spins round. Oh, he got collected by Hamilton. And that gets rid of his rear right tyre. Actually, which Mercedes was that? I think it was Hamilton, you know. We'll go on board with that's not Hamilton, that's not De Vries. I think it was Lewis Hamilton who went into him. And that probably is why we saw Lewis Hamilton pit in the end of that lap. Possibly. But you just see Lando Norris lose it and Hamilton slides into him. Probably smart. A bit too far ahead, unfortunately. It's Hamilton, to be fair, despite that, he's still in P3. So I thought no, that's it's where's Charles Leclerc. He's a lap down. George Russell also a lap down. As we've lost both Haas cars and both McLarens now from this race. Apologies for this. I can't do anything right, it looks like. Let's go back to the battle for the lead. I'm sure we've got to go battle brewing here. Nick De Vries currently leads. Is Nick De Vries in the pits? Is he out of the race? Nick De Vries out of the race. No, he's just pissing. Lewis Hamilton takes the lead despite being involved in that accident earlier. So, while the cars pit, we're going to go to an ad break. The cars are kind of spread out now. Now, actually, to be fair, we've got De Vries and Albon pretty close to each other. But Albon is going to be ahead of Nick De Vries. We'll go to a quick ad break. Just to let the cars bunch back up, and we'll see you in about 5 minutes time. Welcome back to Salzburg Ring for the Austrian Grand Prix. 38 laps into the 72 lap race, and Max Verstappen leads from Lewis Hamilton, his teammate behind him, a lap down of course. And there's Lance Stroll also a lap down after confusing on the safety car. We've got quite a few cars a lap down now. We can report that thankfully overnight there were no vehicle or security breaches. Of course, Chicago last week, unfortunately there was. And that is why F1 has a lot better safety standards than NASCAR is that. Off Perez, he's a lap down. That doesn't really matter for him too much. P11 is number 11. Local Sergeant currently the only car at the back which isn't a lap down. I mean, Stroll is a lap down, but to be fair, circuit's so small, the gaps are pretty big. Let's see how all the cars are on track at the moment. Lewis Hamilton in the lead from Max Verstappen. Why are they going slowly? Were they going slowly, or that just not pure illusion? Nope, they're going slowly. They're both slowing down. What's happened here? And they're all slowing down. We're under safety car. Ah, safety car's out. I wonder why they were slowing down. So obviously something's happened out on track. I'll get that as due once we understand what's happened. It's Sergio Perez, it might be, who's out of the race. We'll get a replay of that to see what happened. We did see him, of course, go off the track. He was already a lap down. He went off the track after being pushed off by his teammate who was a lap ahead of him. Oh, that's got a rear wing, to be fair, or a front wing. So, oh, that's why there's a safety car out. There's been a massive pile-up. So Perez goes off the track there, spins round, unfortunately, back onto the track. Then right into the middle of the track, and he loses his front wing as he tries to get out of the way of other people. There's another car off. Oh, and that's Carlos Sainz goes right into him. There's Nick de Vries is also off in an unseparate incident. There's Bottas, Sainz, and Leclerc, sorry. As I believe that is Sergio Perez out of the race. Just to confirm he is out of the race, he comes into the pits. Slows it down. Pulls into his pit box. Or is he just getting repaired? Actually, he might still be in the race. I think he is, there's a few cars in the pits as well. I believe that Saint Perez might still be in the race and just getting repairs. Yeah, he is. So that is good news for the Mexican. But that's probably like 2 laps down now or something. There's Lance Stroll in front of him. That's a pretty close to live coverage. There we go. That's where the front runners, they're already caught up to the safety car. Oh, there's a lot of checking up there. It's most of the grid now. It's just George. No, it's not George Russell. It's Lance Stroll and Charles Leclerc. No, not Charles Leclerc. Leclerc might be 2 laps down, I think. I don't know. It's all quite confusing. Perez a few laps down. Leclerc might be a lap down. I'm very certain the safety car will be in at the end of this lap. So only 12 cars remaining in this race. Just like Alton Park last week, a lot of cars out of the race. Only saw 3 DNFs in the sprint race. Yeah, only 12 cars left in this race. It's safety car. Does it peel in this lap? No, it doesn't, but that's Charles Leclerc into the wall. And I believe he's already at least a lap down, I'm not too sure. I'm going to go for every driver and see what lap they're on. Hulkenberg's out, Perez on 39, so he's like 2 laps down. Joe's out, Sainz is... No, Sainz went into the wall actually. So they should be on 41. So Stroll is a lap down. But he's not a lap down, he's not on the lead lap. De Vries in the lead lap. Bottas in the lead lap. Albon's in the lead lap. Hamilton's in the lead lap. Of course, he leads currently, so Leclerc's a lap down, okay. George Russell's back on the lead lap, actually. So early on, he was a lap down, but he's gone back onto the lead lap. Safety car will be in this lap. So we've got a quick ad break from our sponsors for this Austrian Grand Prix. And then we'll be back. Gotta restart. In safety car will peel into the pits now. Hamilton, no, George Russell's off in the background. Just what Carlos Sainz did before. But Hamilton leads them away. Verstappen's going to try and make a move down the inside. Is he? Yes, he is. It's a good dive on Bottas as well, trying to move on Hamilton. But it's Verstappen who leads on the restart, followed by Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas. There's one of the Williams behind him. I believe it's Alexander Albon. Williams with a brilliant last couple of races. They've done quite well recently, apart from DNF, but a lot of cars DNFing recently. As the races get so much more tenser. And there's one of that Williams off the track. It is Alexander Albon who almost went off the track. It's, oh, that's Carlos Valtteri Bottas, whose front wing's gone. He leads the race, but he went to the back of someone. And he's slowing up. Going to put Hamilton off the track. You know, Hamilton also wanted someone else off the track. It's, oh, they're both off. It's Lando. No, is it? No, it's Lance Stroll and Hamilton's going to go back on the track. Hit Stroll. That could be another safety car as Perez comes back round. The yellow flag's out, and I believe, yes, another safety car is out, as they've managed to help themselves out and get back on the track. But Hamilton with damage. Good front ring. Stroll, I reckon, will be able to continue. But unfortunate from those two. Is while we're watching those two to do their thing, we're missing out on a great race to lead here. Alex Albon and Max Verstappen, the two former teammates in Red Bull. What are they going to do? Down the back straight. But Logan Sargent in the third place, wanting to catch up on anything that happens between these two. Albon goes up into the grass. And now they're going to try and go around the outside on Max Verstappen. Is he going to be able to do it? Brilliant move if he made that work. Oh, and that's never going to work with Albon. To be fair, no, he's managed to keep it. And he's through around the outside. What a move from Alexander Albon. That's one of the first times I've seen someone go around the outside and it work at that corner. Sargent tries to take a pick of Verstappen off as well. And Williams lead 1-2 for the first time since Silverstone in 2014. And how's it going to happen? No, Sargent just behind Verstappen. Is he going to try and make a move? No, he's not. But for a split second there, Williams were 1-2 for the first time since Silverstone in 2014. It might have been 2015, I'm not too sure, but it was one of them. When they were 1-2 on the grid, of course, from Williams. It was the Martini sponsors, the white livery. What a time that was for Formula 1. But Albon leads this race looking for his first win. He got pole, of course, for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, but a massive accident after launching on a sausage curb caused him to retire from the race. Verstappen piling the pressure back on his former Red Bull teammate. He dives down inside into turn 11. Is he going to back out? This doesn't work well normally. Is Albon going to fight it? He's going to fight it. He stays on track. Sargent's going to try and fight it as well. Sargent's going to go around the outside on both of them. Logan Sargent takes the lead of the race. But no, Albon fights back. Verstappen's gone into the back of Albon. Sargent leaves. That's one of the Ferraris off in the background. Or was it Valtteri Bottas? It was someone who went off. It might have been Charles Leclerc actually, who was a lap down. I believe it was Charles Leclerc who went off there. Of course, a lap down, so not really in this race. But Logan Sargent leads from Max Verstappen. And it's the first time American that's led an F1 race in a long, long time. I can't remember who the last one was. But Logan Sargent takes the lead. Max Verstappen tries to fight back. Is it going to work around the outside through the hairpin? Lap 45 and 72 now. Is he going to try and make a move? Verstappen takes the lead off Logan Sargent. Albon wanting to pick up anything that happens between these two. Side by side for this corner. I keep getting disoriented, sorry. But the two Williams now side by side, are they? Yes, they are. It's going to, oh, someone almost spun there, one of the Williams. They're side by side. Albon, is he going to keep on the track? He's done so well to not lose it wherever people have at turn 12. But Logan Sargent into second place. It's now Albon versus now Carlos Sainz. As Albon almost loses the rear there. Verstappen leads from Logan Sargent from Alexander Albon. Carlos Sainz in fourth place. What a 4-car battle this is for the lead. Valtteri Bottas and Nick de Vries behind them having their own little battle. But it's Verstappen who takes the lead again in this Austrian Grand Prix. But these Williams showing that they are back truly in this sport. That the owner Frank Williams fought so hard to bring them up there. Of course, very successful in the 1980s and 90s, and dropped off in the last couple of years. You know, Sargent piling pressure on Max Verstappen, the reigning world champion, getting pressured by the American rookie. And Sargent, is he going to go down the inside? He has the outside line, now the inside line. And is it going to work? No, it's not. Verstappen gets past him. That's Sainz down inside and Alexander Albon, and he now takes the podium position, and he's all over the back of Logan Sargent now. I reckon he can take P2 into possibly turn 1, unless Albon can't put any more pressure on him. But what a race we've had so far. This top 4 battle going very well. The Sainz not able to get him there. Lap 47 in this race. I do want to talk about last week's racing. Of course, while we were at Alton Park for the British Grand Prix, Mid-Ohio, for FP2, Simon Pagenaud had a massive crash going through turn 4, which ruled him out of the race, unfortunately. That's off, that's one of the Williams. I don't know which Williams. No, it was Carlos Sainz is off. Williams leave 1-2 again. Oh, Verstappen's round. Verstappen's lost it in turn 14. He was leading not too long ago, and now Williams are on pressure from 1-2. Perez in third, he's lap down. Nick de Vries in third, Ocon in fourth, and Verstappen down in 5th place now. It's Carlos Sainz. What's happened to him? George Russell's out of the race as well. I'm not sure what happened to him. It's Carlos Sainz is now in P7, and Albon's off. Albon's pitted actually, so I think that's a scheduled pit stop. And I'm going to go back to see what happens to George Russell, because he's been out for quite a while, I'm pretty sure. He's under safety car. Oh yeah, I think I know what happened there. It's when he went into the wall there. Yeah, that ended his race, unfortunately. We did see it earlier, I didn't realise it ended his race. Logan Sargent now leads from Nick de Vries. Whoops. Sorry about this. To go a bit further ahead. But Logan Sargent now under no pressure. Logan Sargent under no sort of pressure at the moment. From second place, that's not even second place, that's Sergio Perez, I believe. Unless it's Max Verstappen, no it's not. Where's Nick de Vries at the moment? He's a little bit further back. You can see him just there. Logan Sargent leads this race now. Any real battles? If there's not, no there's not. So we're going to go to an ad break now. That's actually Bottas who's lost his wing. So he must have been involved in something earlier on in this lap. Rewind to see what happened. Not really near anyone. I'm a bit confused of what actually happened there. He didn't actually pit that before, so as he had no wing for a while. The Ferrari in front of him. Did he go into the back of that Ferrari? No, he had no wing to begin with actually. You know what, I'm just going to keep going, because I'm not sure what's happened to him. Going back to live coverage now in the Salzburg ring. Bottas in fourth despite having no front wing. You know what, let's go to race leader Logan Sargent. We are quite far back now, a minute back as Perez Tritron does to unlap himself. And Sargent under no pressure. Nick de Vries is catching, it looks like. We can go to an ad break now until the cars bunch back up. I do apologise, I want to have a look because Lance Stroll's out of this race. So we're back. We will go back to break after this. I want to see what happens to Lance Stroll. He's out of this race as well. Wait, no, there's Valtteri. No, that's Carlos Sainz. Bottas spins it. Stroll spins it and he's into the wall. Looks like that for an end to his race, unfortunately. For the Canadian. So now, another car out of the race. We're going to go back to live coverage. There we go. Back on live coverage now. Let's go to an ad break until Nick de Vries catches up to Logan Sargent. As Logan Sargent comes into the pits now. Get onto a fresh set of tyres just means Logan Sargent, Nick de Vries will take the lead. There's Logan Sargent coming out of the pits now. Not sure where he'll come out. He'll come out in P5 behind Carlos Sainz. But that's Charles Leclerc a lap down. Prix. Once we go from that break now, we'll see you in roughly 5 minutes time. While we were away for an ad break, Carlos Sainz got past Nick de Vries. If you were watching on our YouTube live stream, you'd be able to see exactly how the Ferrari man got past Nick de Vries, the winner of the British Grand Prix last weekend. And now it's Logan Sargent. It's one of the Williams. I'm guessing it's Alexander Albon, because Sargent just pitted from around this position on track. So now Carlos Sainz quite far ahead now. And also, if this race stays like this, we could be having the fastest race in F1 history. I'm not too sure actually, because we've got about... I'll have to see what the quickest race in F1 history is. That's Nick de Vries versus Alexander Albon. Albon tries to skip past down the inside. But it's no avail, unfortunately. But now round the outside into turn 13, and it works, and we've got into P2. Good move that from Alexander Albon. Unfortunately, the pack kind of spread out. That's Carlos Sainz into the pits, so he's now making another pit stop. And Alexander Albon takes the lead, and there's Sergio Perez, I believe, coming out of the pits. But who's a lap down, of course, so doesn't really matter too much. Dock on now in P3. See where everyone is. There's Logan Sargent in P4, Verstappen in P5. Is that? Yep. Closely followed by Lewis Hamilton. Yeah, in P6. P7, who's that? That is Carlos Sainz, who just pitted from the race lead. Valtteri Bottas in P8, he still has no front wing. I'm not too sure why he's in pitting, to be fair. Sergio Perez in P9, he's a lap down, he just came out of the pitch. And Charles Leclerc, also a lap down. Bit far back, but only 10 cars currently in the race. And 8 on the lead lap. Let's go back to Ocon, because he's looking quite close to someone. Ocon versus Nick de Vries. Let's see how that will work. While we watch this, I'm on the seat. One hour 14 minutes is the current record, and unfortunately, I don't think... Oh, there's someone round. That's Alexander Albon from race lead. He's gone round. What happened from there? Oh, that's a shame. It's Nick de Vries who hits him as well. Now it's Esteban Ocon who leads the race. He won the 2021 Hungarian Grand Prix. He hasn't won since then. His teammates won twice. Once for AlphaTauri in Monza the year before, and once in Australia this year. Of course, Gasly out of the race. after a massive accident with Nico Hulkenberg. You know, the two Williams very close to each other. Okay, we're a little bit behind coverage, so we're going to fast forward just to make sure we're live. And the fastest, longest, shortest race currently is 1 hour 14 minutes. And as you can see at the bottom right corner, we're around 1 minute 12, or 1 hour 12, sorry. So not quite the shortest race. And also do ignore that there's 56 minutes left of this race. There is not. That is just all the post-race shenanigans as well. It does not take 56 minutes to drive 12 laps around the Salzburg ring, but laps average 1 minute 3. Sargent in P2 now. American has never won a race in this century. We've had Canadians win, I believe. We've had Colombians win of one Pablo Montoya. He did even win a race, I can't remember. Gonna have to have a little Google of that as well. Is that Charles Leclerc v Ocon? Charles Leclerc a lap down looking to unnap himself, and looks like he does unnap himself. No, he's spun round, and that will put Ocon off, and that will invite Logan Sargent to the lead of this race. It's been 1978 was the last time an American won this race, and as it stands with about 12 laps to go, Logan Sargent will be the first driver to win a race since, let's see, who was it? It was Mario Andretti in the 1978 Dutch Grand Prix. But if he wants to do that, he's going to have to keep his teammate behind, he's going to have to keep Max Verstappen behind, and he's going to have to keep Carlos Sainz behind. These four, but all battling for the lead. And what battle it could be. There's no, Albon's got in. Albon's got past Logan Sargent. Potentially be the first Thai driver to win a race in Formula 1 after he came so close. No, it's not Albon, it's Ocon, sorry. I don't know where I got Albon from. The F1 Ocon to try and win his second race of his career. And now Charles Leclerc almost spins round again. It's not Sainz, it's Leclerc. He gets back up after almost unlapping himself but spinning round. It's Verstappen who tries to dive down the inside on Charles Leclerc and unlap himself. Sargent down to P3. Now his teammates down in P4 behind him. Sargent, he's going to make a move on Max Verstappen. Verstappen's going to try and unlap himself. Are we going to try free ride? Surely not. No, they don't. They're smart, thankfully. Charles Leclerc currently P10. So as long as he finishes this race, he does score points. But actually, oh, Leclerc spun round. Just as I said, Leclerc spins round through turn 14. I think he's managed to keep going. And of course, it's lap 64 is the 90% mark, the cut-off. So, of course, Charles Leclerc, if he's still in the race, is he still in? Yes, he is. So we just have to keep this lap. As Sargent gets after Verstappen, I don't know if he was ahead of him or not. Too distracted with Charles Leclerc spinning round. But Leclerc just has to finish this lap and the next lap. To be fair, I think he's a couple laps down. It might be a bit of a while before he is able to get in front. Not get in front, be classified and score points. Oh, someone's round. That's Alexander Albon in the Williams. There's Charles Leclerc also around the exact same corner as before. Was it Albon who went off? Yeah, Albon's out of the race. Looks like Albon's out. And that could be, yeah, Alex Albon's out. And lap 63, that's not lap 64, so he's not going to be classified for this race. Such a shame for the Thai driver, he was doing so well. Try and bring double points for Williams, but Alexander Albon is out of this race. And Ocon's down to 4th, he was leading earlier on. But the leader currently is Logan Sargent. As he tries to become the first American to win in Formula 1 since Michael Andretti, or Mario Andretti, sorry, in the 1978 Dutch Grand Prix. I'm not too sure when the last time a Dutch driver led a race. I'm not Dutch driver, sorry, American driver led a race. But he's not won yet. He's got Max Verstappen who comes into the pits with 9 laps to go, or 8 laps to go now. So it's not Verstappen putting pressure on him, it's the others behind him, Ocon and that's Leclerc, so he's not an issue. As until these 3 cars try and get closer to each other, we're going to go to the last ad break. If you're watching on YouTube, we won't be on ads, you'll be able to see them catch up to each other. But if you're watching on Sky Sports F1, then of course we will be going to ads. But to be fair, I don't think that's necessary because Ocon's already caught up to him. Ocon, is he going to try and make a move into turn 1? He's going to go around the outside and he gets a move. Oh, Albon's slow. Oh, Leclerc's round again. Not again, Charles. That's his 3rd time and I think he's only lapped he's spun round. But Logan Sargent now down to P2. Such a shame for him. Here's Ocon into the pits. Esteban Ocon comes into the pits from the race lead. And with 6 laps to go, I'm surprised with that decision, to be fair. If I was him, I would have just kept going. That would put Logan Sargent back into the lead of this race. And Carlos Sainz in P2, Nick de Vries P3. P4 is Ocon. He's in the pits, of course. He'll be overtaken by Verstappen if he couldn't get out pits. No, he's not. So Hamilton, Austrian P4, Verstappen in P4, Hamilton P5, Ocon comes out in P6 behind Bottas, who's a lap down. What lap is on? Perry's on 66, Bottas on 66, Charles Leclerc is on 65. So everyone who's currently in the top, who's currently on track, will score points as long as they finish the race. Such a shame for Albon, who can't get that 1 championship point for P10 as he did not finish 90% of the race. Is anyone really close to each other? I don't think they are. So we're going to watch Logan Sargent go on to lap 68 of 72, 5 laps to go now. Not really many battles out on track at the moment. I think the closest cars are Hamilton and Verstappen. So let's watch the 221 championship rivals go at it. Not actually that close with each other, to be fair. So we're going to go to the ad break I said about earlier until possibly the checkered flag. We will see the last 3 laps. Of course, YouTube viewers will be able to watch this from Logan Sargent's perspective. So we'll see you in a few minutes time. And there's Logan Sargent now. Lap 70, being pressured by Carlos Sainz, and Carlos Sainz takes the lead of this race. Sargent has not won since the feature race of the Red Bull Ring in F2 last year. In this country last year was the last time he won in F2. The rookie being pressured by Carlos Sainz. What a race we've got. We've got 2 laps to go after this lap. And it's Sargent who loses the lead. He'll be gutted if he loses this win. Oh no, Sargent's off, no! Logan Sargent, he's spun off in the gravel. He's kept it going. But Carlos Sainz surely will win this race now unless something happens to him. He's already pitted. Oh no. That is such a shame for Logan Sargent. It's Carlos Sainz, he's quite far ahead now. That will be Carlos Sainz surely with the win. Unless something miraculous happens. Ah, gutting. What's happened here? I think Hamilton's out of this race. No, he's in the pits. What's happened in the pits? And Hamilton in the pits as well. Thought he was out for a second. Thankfully not. But Carlos Sainz, he rounds the final corner to start the final lap of this race. Sargent is relatively close, but unfortunately I don't think he's close enough to make any sort of attempts on this last lap. He is closing in on Carlos Sainz. Is there going to be a last lap move for this race for the win? Unfortunately, I don't think there will be. And Carlos Sainz, he won the British Grand Prix last year at Silverstone. And he's going to win, it looks like, in Salzburg Ring, in Austria. He hasn't won yet this season. He's got a P3, but no race win for the Spaniard. He's going to round the hairpin where Logan Sargent went off 2 laps ago. He's going to go round the final corner. It's going to be Carlos Sainz who takes the checkered flag and wins the Austrian Grand Prix. What a race for Carlos Sainz. It's Logan Sargent. He was so close to his first win in Formula 1. He's going to finish in second. There's Max Verstappen who's pulled off the side of the track. I'm not sure what's happened to him. The Mercedes off as well. He's just come out of the pits. Esteban Ocon is going to finish in P3 to get his second podium. I don't know what he's done this season, to be fair. Nick de Vries in 4th. Sergio Perez, he's a lap down. Charles Leclerc will finish in 8th place. It's actually Bottas. Where's he? He is, where's that? I'm not too sure where that is. He's trying to make a move on Lewis Hamilton. His race isn't done yet. Oh, that's Carlos Sainz who gets past him. Well, Sainz has spun round on the in-lap, trying to get out of Valtteri Bottas' way. That's Hamilton slowing down as well. He might have an issue. Yeah, Hamilton pulls off the side of the track. He's got an issue and he's out of the race. There's Valtteri Bottas now crossing the line in P9. It's Carlos Sainz, your race winner, as he peels into the pits. Logan Sargent in P2. That's Charles Leclerc crossing the line to finish in P9, I believe. Logan Sargent in P2. Ocon in P3. Nick de Vries in P4 as he tries to find his pit box. Sergio Perez, he hasn't finished the race yet in P5. Well, probably has finished the race, he just hasn't come into the pits yet. Sergio Perez in P5. Lewis Hamilton in P6. Max Verstappen in P7. Neither of them actually finished the race but were classified because they finished 90% of the race. Charles Leclerc in P8, he's coming to the pits now, so is Valtteri Bottas. Alexander Albon 1 lap off completing 90% of the distance and scoring a point, but unfortunately he doesn't. Lance Stroll in 11th, George Russell in 12th, Lando Norris in 13th, Oscar Piastri in 14th, Pierre Gasly in 15th, Nico Hulkenberg in 16th, P17 I believe was Joe Guan Yu, yep, 18th was Kevin Magnussen, I believe, no, Fernando Alonso, 19th was Magnussen, yep, and in P20, to finish off your grade, it was Yuki Tsunoda. Before we go though, let's see what happened to Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, who were of course involved in something they both pulled over. Let's try and rewind as fast as we can. Unfortunately, this is the fastest we can go. There we go. And fast forward to the front straightaway where he had his issue. Lap 71, about to start the final lap of this race. What happens to him? Oh, his engine just goes into neutral. Engine cuts out. Struggling to slow the car down there actually. Maybe it was some sort of brake failure, I'm not too sure. That is Max Verstappen putting aside the track and out of the race from P5. And now Lewis Hamilton pulled off as well from P7. What happened to him? He's coming out of the pits. I'm not sure why he actually came into the pits, to be honest. Let's fast forward to see what happened to him. As you can see, Verstappen, he's not there anymore. He's trying to get past everyone. I think they've already finished the race, to be fair. Yeah, you can already see the engine's cut out. Maybe fuel. He's actually in gear, unlike Verstappen. And that could be out of fuel if he pulled over on the curb. Different issues, I believe, between Hamilton and Verstappen. Hamilton, he's still in gear. Verstappen was in neutral. But anyway, here's another little recap of your results. I'm not going to go through it because I already have. But your championship standings will be up on our YouTube community post not too long after this race. So we'll see you next weekend, 2 weekends time actually, for the German Grand Prix. Thank you and goodbye.